Presented by Love and Sad Stories, If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 1, If He Had Been With Me. Everything would have been different, that's how it starts, not with love, not with hope, but with an accident, someone is dead. And I already know who it is. I don't need the details. I don't need confirmation. My heart knows before my mind allows it to. They say it was raining. They say it was late. They say there were other people in the car, but all I can think is, he wasn't supposed to be there, he was supposed to be with me. I imagine it over and over. If he had been sitting beside me instead of them. If we had been driving somewhere else. If I had said something different that day. Would he still be alive? It's strange how your whole life can shrink into one sentence, one unbearable thought. We used to be inseparable. Neighbors. Childhood best friends. The kind of closeness that feels permanent. Until it isn't. Somewhere along the way, we drifted. Different friends. Different choices. Different versions of ourselves, and now. There's no fixing it, because the worst part isn't just that he's gone, it's knowing that maybe. Just maybe, if he had been with me, he'd still be here. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 2, Before the Accident. Before the silence, there was just us, Finny and me. Two houses. One shared childhood, our moms were best friends. We grew up side by side like it was destiny. Summer afternoons running between yards. Flashlights through bedroom windows at night. A string with cups tied between us so we could whisper secrets after dark. Back then, loving him wasn't complicated. It wasn't even something I had to think about. He was just there. Like air. Like gravity. Like something permanent, and maybe that's why I never questioned it, but somewhere between growing up and trying to become someone else, things shifted. Not suddenly. Not loudly. Just slowly. Quietly. Like a crack forming in glass. We started choosing different friends. Different versions of ourselves. I told myself it didn't matter, but deep down, I think I always knew, some people aren't meant to leave your life, and when they do, it doesn't feel like distance, it feels like something inside you went missing. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 3, It didn't happen all at once, that's the cruel part. No big fight. No dramatic goodbye, just space. Middle school came, and suddenly we weren't us anymore. Finny had his loud, popular friends. I had mine, quieter, stranger, safer. We still lived next door. Our windows still faced each other. But something invisible had shifted. I told myself it didn't matter. People grow up. People change, that's normal, right? But every time I saw him laughing with them, I felt this tiny pull in my chest. Like I was watching something that used to belong to me, and I hated myself for thinking that, because he wasn't mine, he never was. We still said hi. Still acted polite, but politeness is not the same thing as closeness, and sometimes I wonder, if we had fought instead, if we had broken loudly instead of quietly, maybe it wouldn't have hurt this much, because losing someone slowly is its own kind of heartbreak. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 4. You don't wake up one day and decide to lose someone, it happens in tiny choices. In Chapter 4, the distance between us becomes real. Not imagined. Not dramatic. Just real. Finny has his crowd now, loud, easy, popular, and I have mine, strange, sharp, a little misunderstood. We're in the same school. Same hallways. Same air, but we don't walk together anymore. I tell myself I chose this. That I like who I'm becoming. That I don't need him to define me, but every time I see him across the room, something tightens in my chest, like I'm pretending not to look at something that still matters. We don't fight, we don't confess, we just quietly stand on opposite sides of a line no one drew out loud, and maybe that's the hardest part. There's no villain here, just two people growing up, and growing apart. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 5, You ever smile so well that no one notices you're breaking? That's chapter 5. By now, the distance between Finney and me feels official. Not spoken. Not confirmed. Just understood. We pass each other like acquaintances. Like we don't share a childhood full of secrets and backyard summers. I laugh with my friends. I act normal. I tell myself I like this version of my life, the one where I don't need him. But sometimes I catch him looking at me, or maybe I'm the one looking, and in those split seconds, there's this question hanging between us. How did we get here? I don't ask it, he doesn't either, because pretending is easier, pretending we chose this. Pretending it doesn't sting, but the truth is, when someone used to be your whole world, acting like they're nothing, is the hardest performance of all. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If he had been with me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 6. Sometimes growing up feels like putting on a costume and hoping it fits. In Chapter 6, I'm trying so hard to become someone new. New friends. New habits. A slightly sharper version of myself. I tell myself this is independence. This is strength. Finney is still there, same neighborhood, same school, but not mine anymore. Not in the way he used to be. I act like I don't care, like I don't notice when he laughs, like it doesn't matter that we don't walk home together anymore. But late at night, when everything gets quiet, I wonder, am I actually changing? Or am I just building walls, because becoming someone else sounds brave, until you realize, you might be leaving the most important person behind, and the scariest part, I'm not sure if I'm losing him. Or if I'm losing myself. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If he had been with me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 7. It's a strange thing. Standing a few feet away from someone who used to be your whole world. Chapter 7 feels like that. Finney and I exist in the same spaces, classrooms, sidewalks, family dinners, but we move around each other like careful strangers. Polite. Controlled. Distant, and it shouldn't hurt anymore. It's been long enough. I chose this, didn't I? But when I hear his voice across the room, something inside me still reacts before I can stop it. My heart doesn't understand the new rules. I laugh with my friends. I talk about normal things. I pretend I don't feel that tiny ache when he walks past without really looking at me. We didn't explode, we didn't shatter, we just faded, and maybe that's worse, because when you become strangers slowly, there's no clear moment to mourn, just the quiet realization that the person who once knew everything about you doesn't anymore. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If he had been with me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 8. There are rules now, unspoken, unwritten, but we both follow them. In Chapter 8, Finney and I have mastered the art of almost looking, of almost speaking, of pretending that the history between us doesn't hum quietly under the surface. We don't sit together, we don't walk together, we don't choose each other, and every time I don't choose him, it feels like I'm proving something. Like I'm strong. Like I've moved on. But why does strength feel so much like loneliness? I build my world carefully, friends, routines, little jokes that don't include him. And he builds his too. We are two separate stories now, except when our eyes meet, because in that 1 second, all the rules disappear, and I'm reminded that no matter how hard you try to rewrite the present, you can't erase a past that still beats inside your chest. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If he had been with me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 9. You can measure distance in miles, or you can measure it in silence. Chapter 9 feels like silence. Finney and I aren't fighting. We aren't dramatic. We're just careful. Every conversation is short. Every interaction feels rehearsed. Like we're both afraid of stepping on something fragile that doesn't even exist anymore. And I tell myself I'm fine. I have my friends, my routines, my new life. But sometimes I wonder, if this is fine, why does it still ache? I watch him from across rooms the way you look at an old photograph. You don't touch it. You don't talk about it. But you can't throw it away either. We're not what we used to be. And we're not nothing. We're just stuck in the space between. And sometimes, that in-between space hurts more than goodbye ever could. If he had been with me, he'd still be here. If he had been with me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 10. It's Thanksgiving. But the house doesn't feel like one. My parents fight, doors slam, voices echo through the walls. And I hide in my room, listening, trying not to listen. Every corner feels heavy, every sound cuts too deep. I thought holidays were supposed to feel warm. This one doesn't. I sneak out mashed potatoes in the dark, cold on my fingers, and sit on the front porch, pretending the night is my only company. The wind bites, but I stay. I need to feel something, even if it's just the cold, and then I see him. Finney, laughing, unsteady, drunk maybe, but still him. Our eyes meet, and for a moment, the world falls away. He hands me his jacket, warm, familiar, a small rebellion against the chaos behind us. He says my name, Autumn. Just like that, the night feels a little less lonely. A little less impossible. Sometimes, the people we love don't fix everything. But for one quiet, fleeting moment, they remind us that we can survive it. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 11, The days feel colder now. The war has built walls I can't cross. In school, we pass each other like strangers. Finney's laugh drifts across the hall, and my chest tightens. Every glance is loaded, every silence louder than words. I want to talk to him. But the line between us is frozen, unspoken, unbearable. Even Thanksgiving couldn't thaw it. We sit at opposite sides, our parents pretending we're fine, but I feel every crack in that fragile piece. I watch him from the window, wondering if he even notices me, if he remembers how we used to be, and yet, in this quiet, in the spaces between anger and distance, I realize something too heavy for words. I have loved him for as long as I can remember. And the absence of him hurts more than anything else. Some love doesn't come with closure. Some love just lingers. Quietly, painfully, always. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 12, It's winter now, and everything feels sharper. Finney and I no longer speak, yet his presence lingers like a shadow I can't escape. I watch him from across the cafeteria, his laugh hitting me like a memory I can't hold on to. Home isn't safe either. My parents fight, voices spilling into the hallways, leaving me small and unseen. I hide, I listen, I ache. The world is loud and cold, and I feel invisible in it all, and yet, even in this quiet heartbreak, I find him outside my window, stumbling. Unsteady, human, and I remember the pieces of him I've always loved. Some moments aren't about closeness. They're about noticing. And noticing him now, even from a distance, is the closest I can get to feeling whole, because love doesn't always need words. It lives in the spaces we can't reach, but never forget. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 13, The cafeteria feels like a battlefield. Our table, our safe space, has been taken, and suddenly, everything is a fight. My friends are furious, my heart pounds, and I realize it's never really just about a table, and then I see him, Finney, stepping into the chaos. Calm, indifferent to the tension, yet somehow claiming his place in the world I've been trying to hold. My chest tightens. My thoughts stumble. I want to speak, to reach across the invisible line between us. But the war of pride and silence keeps us apart. He is there, and I am here. Close, yet unreachable. Sometimes love is quiet. Sometimes love is watching someone you've always loved choose a side, while you're left standing in the cold. And in that silence, I feel every beat of my heart echoing his absence. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 14, The day after Thanksgiving. The house is heavy with shouting, slammed doors, and silent corners. I sit in my room, feeling time slip past, the light fading, and the weight of all the unsaid words pressing down on me. I step outside into the night, cold air biting my skin, mashed potatoes in my hands like a small, silly rebellion. And then I see him, Finney, stumbling across the lawn, unsteady, laughing, and yet still him. My chest tightens. My heart races. He offers his jacket, fumbling, awkward, human. Our hands brush. Names are spoken, Autumn, not Sylvie, and suddenly the night feels fragile and alive. Words we can't say sober float between us, and in the darkness, with the wind shaking the trees, I realize, sometimes the smallest gestures carry the heaviest truths. Love doesn't wait for perfect timing, it exists in the quiet, trembling moments you can't take back. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 15. The winter air bites, but inside, everything feels colder. School is a battlefield of stolen tables, silent stares, and unspoken rules. I watch Finney from across the room, his presence stirring a storm in me I can't name. Every glance, every small gesture carries weight I shouldn't feel but can't escape. He exists in my world like sunlight through fog, bright, unreachable, essential. And yet, I'm trapped in the quiet, where my own heart betrays me. In the hush of the hallways, in the stolen seconds of our shared space, I realize, love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the trembling breath between words, the ache that doesn't fade, and the impossible hope that maybe, just maybe, he knows. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 16. The air is thick with things we don't say. Finney walks past, and my chest tightens. Every step he takes feels like a silent question I can't answer. I tell myself it's nothing, that I'm overthinking, but my hands betray me, trembling with the weight of all the words stuck inside. We sit near each other in class, our worlds almost touching, yet separated by invisible walls. I remember the way it used to be, carefree, effortless, when friendship didn't hurt. Now every glance carries a risk, every smile a longing I can't share, and in that quiet, I feel it, the ache of loving someone who may never notice the depth of what I feel. The truth hits me softly, painfully. Some connections linger, unspoken, unfulfilled, but never truly gone. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 17. The cafeteria feels like a battlefield. A table, just a table, becomes a line in the sand between us and them. My friends are furious, my heart pounds, and yet Finney is there, calmly placing his bag down, unaware of the chaos he's stepping into. I walk to him, my breath catching, my chest tightening. For a moment, it's just him and me, and the world outside the cafeteria disappears. His blue eyes, the way his hair falls across his forehead. It's beautiful, innocent, untouchable. I tell myself it's only a table. But the truth is, it's never just about a table. It's about him, and the way being near him makes my heart ache with longing I can't name. Some battles aren't about winning, they're about feeling alive. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 18. It's my birthday, but the world feels heavy. Honors English, laughter with Jamie, and yet Finney is there, a shadow across the room, and I can't stop seeing him. My heart knows what my mind won't say. Sitting at Mr. Laffigan's desk, books open, I pretend to focus, but my eyes keep finding Finney. Every glance is a pull I can't resist. I love him. Not the way I love Jamie, not the way I love anyone else. But him, in a way that twists my chest and leaves me breathless. Some love is quiet. Some love is impossible to define. And sometimes, it's just enough to feel it. Even if you can never tell the world. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 19. Lunch becomes a battlefield. Tables aren't just tables, they're territory, lines drawn in invisible ink, and suddenly, every chair is a claim, every glance a challenge. My friends fight. My heart races, and then Finney steps in. Calm, quiet, unaware of the chaos he interrupts. I feel it again, the pull, the ache, the love I can't name. One look at him, and all the anger, all the noises fades. Some battles are loud, some are silent. But the ones that matter leave your heart shaking long after the war is over. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 20. It's late. The house is quiet, but my chest is loud with everything I can't say. My parents fight, the walls shake with voices I can't fix. I step outside with leftovers in my hands, the cold biting, the night endless, and then he's there, Finney, stumbling, unsteady, human, real. Drunk, maybe, but still him. His jacket smells like him. His eyes look at me the way I've always wanted to be seen. We talk quietly, carefully, the world shrinking to the steps, the night, the small warmth between us. Some nights are meant for hiding. Some nights are meant for noticing. The people who've always been there, even when everything else falls apart. Tonight, I notice him. And maybe, just maybe, He notices me too. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 21. Jamie says once he can drive, we'll finally be free. And for a while, it feels true. We drive with the radio low, the windows fogged, pretending we're in some love story that only happens in movies. I tell myself I feel safe. I tell myself I'm in control. But sometimes control feels like fear wearing a prettier dress. I'm scared of growing up too fast. Scared of losing something I can never get back. When I grab the wheel for a second and almost send us off the road, Jamie jokes that maybe I should never learn to drive. Never risk killing myself, but I already know, one day I'll lose my innocence. One day I'll lose my life. Both feel distant and terrifyingly close. At night, after curfew, I listen for Finney's car instead. The sound of his engine. The slam of his door. The soft glow of his bedroom light, 2 windows. 20 feet of air, and somehow, he still feels closer than the boy sitting right beside me. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 22. The last day of the semester is supposed to feel light. Christmas is coming. Freedom is close, but I feel sick. Pale. Dizzy. Like my body is trying to escape something my heart can't name. I barely make it through my test before I'm running down the hallway, hand over my mouth, dignity hanging by a thread. And when I come back, are you pregnant? The word hits like a slap. Pregnant, no. I've never even had sex. Jamie hugs me. Kisses me. Jokes about my breath. Life moves on, but later, walking home behind Finney and Sylvie, watching them hold hands like it's the easiest thing in the world, I feel something crack inside me. I ask him to stop the rumors. I tell him I'm a virgin. The way his face changes, it stays with me. That night, lying in bed, I replay it over and over. My Finney, I think, but he isn't mine. He's on the other side now, and for the first time, I can actually feel the distance. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 23. Christmas used to mean sleeping under the tree beside Finney, whispering secrets until the lights blurred and morning found us together. Now we stand across the room like strangers in holiday clothes. He gives me a silver snowflake tiara. I pretend that's enough. I smile. He smiles back, soft, careful. Like we're both trying not to break something fragile between us. Later, walking home in the cold, Mom drops it casually, he and Sylvie broke up. The words hit harder than they should. She left him. Finney, the boy who never shows his cracks. The boy who doesn't let people see when he's bleeding inside. I stare at his bedroom light from my window that night. Curtains closed. Silence heavy. I remember the few times I saw him cry as a child. My throat tightens the same way now. He's hurting, and the worst part, I don't know if I'm allowed to care the way I do. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 24. Christmas break ends with breakups. Angie cries in a bathroom stall, saying, "He said I didn't do anything wrong." And I remember that feeling, the way heartbreak isn't just sadness. It's physical. Like something was ripped out of you and left an empty space that hurts to breathe. Finney and Sylvie don't sit together anymore. He looks at the ground. She looks straight ahead. I want to hate her for hurting him, and then I imagine something worse. What if Jamie and I broke up? For one terrifying second, I feel relief. Relief that maybe he wouldn't have to be my forever. Relief that I wouldn't feel guilty for wondering about someone else. Then fear crashes in, because Jamie is my first love. And everyone says you never get over your first love. In class, we talk about Jane Eyre. About loving someone even after they break your heart. About wanting them anyway. Never leave me. I whisper to Jamie after the bell. I won't, he says, but promises feel so fragile. When you've just watched love fall apart. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 25. It snows on Valentine's Day. I wear the silver snowflake tiara he picked out for me. The world looks soft and white and almost magical. Jamie has roses waiting. Dinner plans. Forever plans. I should feel perfect, but Finney doesn't show up to the bus stop. And when Sylvie hands me a pink envelope for him, Something twists inside me. I knock on his door. He opens it shirtless, pale, feverish, beautiful, and for one dangerous second, I forget how to breathe. It isn't just attraction. It's warmth. It's history. It's the way my body remembers him before my mind can stop it. I tell myself I'm horrible. Ungrateful. Jamie is good to me. He loves me. He calls me his pretty girl. At dinner, he smiles at my gifts and says I'm the best girlfriend. I smile back, but love shouldn't feel divided, and no matter how hard I try, I can't pull Finney out of my heart like a splinter. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 26. Sometimes the bruise isn't the part that hurts the most. Jamie convinces me to go down the dangerous ramp. I fly. I fall. His head slams into my face and suddenly the world is white and burning and everyone is staring at me like I might break. I'm fine, I keep saying. I always say that. Even when I'm not. At home, the adults panic. But it's Finney who steps forward. Calm. Focused. His fingers moving in front of my eyes. Are you dizzy? Can you see? He makes me a better ice pack. Uses my old monkey sock. Knows exactly how long to leave it on. Like he's memorized how to take care of me. Later, we sit on the couch, space between us that feels heavier than the bruise on my face. He tells me I should be a writer. That teaching in houses and normal don't sound like me. What happened to the turtlenecks and coffee? He asks softly. I say that was just a dream, but when I go upstairs, the old photo of us is sitting out, like he wanted me to see it. I hide it again, because I can survive a black eye. I'm not sure I can survive remembering who I used to be with him. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 27. A black eye fades, but some bruises don't. At school, everyone turns my accident into a story. A joke. A performance. I smile on cue while they describe the sound of our heads colliding like rocks. By Friday, I'm exhausted from explaining pain that doesn't even belong to me anymore. Then Sylvie corners me in the bathroom. Finn asked me to be friendly, she says. Friendly, the word feels sharp. Why would he care how she treats me? Unless he still cares. At lunch, I don't tell the whole truth. Maybe I'm afraid of what it means, and then I walk into class and see them, back together. Her sitting on his desk. Their fingers laced. Her laughter soft and easy. He looks happy, she kisses him. My heart jumps anyway, and I hate that it does, so I open Dombey and Son, and pretend I'm reading instead of breaking. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 28. Last day of school. I'm scared I might cry saying goodbye to Mr. Laffigan. Because I used to be the kind of girl who cried over books and classrooms and endings. First morning of summer, I wake up and write a story where someone dies. 5 pages. Red tulips. Broken porcelain. Guilt everywhere. I feel alive, but being a writer feels like a dream now. Jamie wants houses. Children. A future that makes sense. I tell myself I have to be practical, then I go back to our old elementary school with Aunt Angelina, and suddenly, I remember her, the little girl who loved school, who believed writing books wasn't impossible, who sat at the smallest table with Finney like the world couldn't touch us. We dance on the art tables. We sing. For a second, everything feels simple again. Mrs. Morganson asks if we're more than friends. No, I say too fast, because I have a boyfriend, because life is practical now, because dreams are dangerous. Before we leave, I slide down the banister like I always wanted to. Finney waits at the bottom to catch me. Some things haven't changed, and that might be the scariest part of all. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 29. We're lying under the stars, holding hands, asking the kind of questions that feel bigger than we are. What's the meaning of life? Jamie says happiness, someone says doing good, someone jokes about orgasms. And I say, beauty, even the sad kind, because sometimes the most painful things are the most beautiful. Like love that ruins you. Like stories where someone dies and it hurts so much it feels holy, but Jamie doesn't see it that way. In the car, he tells me death just sucks. That I'm weird for thinking sadness can be beautiful. That Romeo and Juliet would be stupid in real life. There's real life, he says, and then there are books. And I sit there wondering, which one am I living in? He asks if I would kill myself if he died. No. I wouldn't. Because in real life, we're supposed to survive, we're supposed to move on, we're supposed to be happy. I love you, he says, the way people love in real life. I rest my head on his shoulder and whisper that I do too, but deep down, I'm not sure my heart knows the difference between real life and a tragedy waiting to happen. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 30, Some Days Feel Golden. I'm on the porch with a library book that smells like dust and history and forgotten magic. It's so good it almost hurts. The kind of story that seeps into your blood and changes you quietly. I close my eyes just to hold the feeling, because you only get to read something for the first time. Once, the longest day of the year, the sun hanging low, everything soft, and then next door, a door slams, Kevin leaves. Aunt Angelina stands there watching him drive away like something invisible just ended. Then she says my name. Try to marry your first love, she tells me. For the rest of your life, no one will ever treat you as well. And just like that, the light changes, the glitter leaves the grass, the air feels thinner. First love. I think about Jamie, I think about promises, I think about books and magic and things that only happen once, because love is like that too, isn't it? You only get the first time once, and I'm suddenly terrified of choosing wrong. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 31, Sasha and I walk through the heat, sandals slapping on the sidewalk, the cicadas singing our summer soundtrack. We stop to scratch bug bites, adjust tank tops, laugh at nothing and everything. And I realize that the ordinary day, magazines, candy, lip glosses feels like a quiet adventure. But then, in a pause between words, she drops it. I think I'm going to break up with Alex. Shock freezes me. I want to argue, to reason, to hold on to what I know. She says she still loves him, but not like she used to. I hug her anyway, the heat sticking our skin together, and all I can think is how life moves forward, messy, surprising. And sometimes heartbreak comes wrapped in sunlight and licorice, because even in the ordinary, love and loss find a way to meet. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 32, Summer days blur into laughter in car rides, Jamie and I teasing, shouting over the radio, feeling the heat stick to our skin. Sasha and Alex are elsewhere, but life moves anyway, messy and bright. Angie has a new boyfriend, Preppy Dave, and we take him under our chaotic, teasing wings. I watch him, nervous and awkward, and I see the way he fits, just barely, yet perfectly, among our noise, our jokes, our unspoken codes. The mall becomes a stage for tiny victories, laughter shared, awkward smiles. Bonds formed in the spaces between words. I realize that growing up isn't just about heartbreak or first love, it's about making room for others, about generosity, patience, and seeing the good in someone shy, sheepish, and entirely human. And in that moment, I think, maybe this is what it means to belong. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 33, Junior year hits like a wave, sudden, fast, and unstoppable. Jamie and I drive to school together, the world stretching ahead, each college brochure a whisper of dreams I'm not sure I'm ready for. My fingers brush the edge of possibilities, but Finney is the gravity I can't escape. In honors English, we sit close enough to almost touch, yet we speak as strangers, navigating the unspoken rules we've carried since childhood. Every small motion, a memory, every silence, a heartbeat. I hear him talking to another girl, effortless, natural, and I feel the pull of envy, admiration, and longing all at once. He knows who he is, I am still learning. And in that quiet, I realize, some people move through life like a compass, steady, certain, guiding, while I am still figuring out how to point north, because knowing what you want can be harder than wanting someone else. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 34, It's a cool September afternoon, and I hadn't planned to go to Finney's soccer game. But there I am, sitting high in the bleachers, the chill breeze brushing my face, the world quiet except for the thud of cleats on grass. He leads his team, focused, determined, the same boy I've always known, yet impossibly grown. Then it happens. He falls, flips through the air, and for a heartbeat, my stomach drops into my chest. My mind flashes to childhood, to every moment I couldn't imagine life without him. And in that instant, I know with a certainty that steals my breath, I am in love with Finney. Watching him stand again, safe, waving at us, I feel the gravity of a love that's been growing silently, filling every corner of me. I clutch the college brochure I pretend to read, but my heart is only on the field, only with him, because some truths don't need words. They just hit you, whole, undeniable, forever. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 35. The sky is gray, the leaves falling early, and I'm waiting by the door, restless with small victories, poems written, homework done, a fountain pen in violet ink, and the world feels alive in its quiet. Then I see it, a mountain of leaves, impossibly tall, waiting for me. I leap, I bury myself, I scatter them, and in the rustling, the past and present collide. Finney's voice cuts through the crisp autumn air, and suddenly he's there, arms crossed, frowning, then rolling into that half-smile that says everything without saying a word. The anger, the amusement, the years we've shared, all fold into this single, perfect moment. My heart knows what my lips have yet to speak, I love him. Now and always, we stand in the fading light, unspoken understanding between us, the world narrowing to leaves, laughter, and the boy who has always been mine. Because some truths, like falling in love, cannot be hidden, no matter how quietly you try. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 36. I wake up tangled in the pages of Wuthering Heights, my mind swimming in Kathy and Heathcliff's obsession. The rain and snow of the story cling to me, making the real world feel distant, unreal. The weight of my own heart presses gently but firmly against my ribs. Finney, my forever love, buried like a delicate secret. Then Jamie calls, his voice bright, warm, grounding. He's bringing a present. A piece of our ordinary life in a world that sometimes feels too large, too tangled. I brush my hair, fold away the ghost of longing, and step into the sun-dappled autumn, where roses scatter petals over gold leaves, and everything feels fragile and alive. Jamie arrives, grinning, carrying small treasures, a rubber dinosaur, a pink bouncy ball, a wire ring with a purple stone, all tokens of his love, silly and perfect. I laugh, I hold them, I hold him, and the ache for what cannot be fades for a moment. Here, on these back porch steps, leaning against him, I am tethered to life, to love, to choices that I can live with, because love doesn't have to be tragic to be real, and some moments, small, fleeting, magical, are enough to hold forever. Closing line. And in this quiet, ordinary afternoon, I know that I cannot lose what is already etched into my heart. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 37. It's the last day of school before Christmas, and the air hums with excitement. My friends have orchestrated a little magic for me, tiaras, gifts, laughter, and warmth. Jamie leads the chaos, gifting me a tiara stand, a rock, a burned CD, each small piece a story we share. I watch the glow of friendship and love surround me, and for the first time in weeks, the melancholy lifts. We exchange gifts with everyone, silly, thoughtful, perfect in their imperfection. Sasha and Alex laugh together like real friends. Preppy Dave fits seamlessly with Angie. We imagine a double wedding with swans at midnight, sketches on napkins, our childish dreams weaving into the life we share now. When Jamie raises his glass and says, to us, I feel it, the deep, unspoken bond that holds us together, fragile yet unstoppable, fleeting yet infinite. Closing line. And in that clink of glasses, I know we are exactly where we're meant to be, together, messy, joyful, alive. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 38. Winter crushes me. The sky is gone, the trees bare, and the cold bites through every layer. I wander the library, clutching books that fail me, nap through afternoons, and stare at gray windows, letting thoughts creep in that daylight would banish. I fight with Jamie, cling to him, yet feel distant, knowing life has moved ahead without me. Snow falls dirty and thin, friends and family blur in routines I cannot touch. I stare at my reflection, see dry hands, chapped lips, a fading self, and wonder if I am enough. Writing feels hollow. Every page I try to fill tears itself apart. The waiting, the hope, it all seems meaningless. Closing line. Winter ends, they say, but some winters live inside you, long after the snow has gone. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 39. Winter is heavy, and so am I. My mother sits beside me on my bed, gentle fingers in my hair, trying to reach the parts one hide even from myself. She worries, and I fight it, insisting that it's just the cold months, just the gray that makes me tired. But she knows more, and she brings me to Dr. Singh, a stranger with kind eyes and quiet questions. I shrink in the small waiting room, surrounded by the world's sadness and chaos, feeling small and exposed. Every question he asks pricks at truths I avoid, sleep patterns, anger, sadness that doesn't lift, the quiet weight of believing I deserve to be this way. I say I'm fine. I say it so often that even I almost believe it. He doesn't argue, only says, sadness is not a reward, it is not deserved, and it is not shameful. And in that room, I let myself hear it. For the first time, it feels allowed to be broken and still safe. Weeks pass. Spring comes. The sun warms my shoulders. I feel lighter, but I know healing isn't magic. It is tiny steps, small breaths, the courage to let someone see what you've been hiding. Closing line, and maybe that's enough, to finally let the world touch the pieces of you thought no one could see, if he had been with me. By Laura Nowlin, Chapter 40, Bleach stings my nose, Sasha laughs, and I'm twisting her hair into streaks of blue. My hands work carefully, heart light with mischief. We call Jamie, plot our little scheme to fix hearts and friendships, to untangle Alex and Trina so Sasha can be happy. It feels effortless. Dangerous, even. The next days are a dance of laughter, secrets, and quiet victories. We sit close, touch without thinking, laugh until our ribs ache. I realize how much power we hold in this web of friendship and love, how something as simple as a shared joke or a changed heart can bind us together, or tear us apart, and beneath it all, I feel it, the fragile, fleeting magic of these moments, knowing that love and friendship, even at their brightest, carry a shadow of what could be lost. Closing line, we are unstoppable together. Until the day we aren't. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 41, I wake to the glow of my phone, Finney calling in the dark. My dream vanishes, leaving only him. The chaos of a party hums in the background, but I hear his voice, clear and steady, and my chest tightens with a longing I cannot hide. Memories flood me, tiny hands, whispered secrets, the soft warmth of childhood shared. Every moment we've ever had crashes over me like a wave, and I let myself feel it, every ache and every joy. He's here, even if just a voice, and it's enough to unravel everything I've tried to control. Closing line, in the dark, I whisper his name and it becomes my heartbeat, Finney. My Finney, If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 42. The last day of school, and Jamie and I are alone in his pool, hearts and bodies pressing close. Every touch, every kiss sparks something raw and fragile inside me. I tell him I love him, so much it almost hurts, and he wants more, but I hesitate. I want to give myself to him. But I need time, a year, to understand what I truly need. He listens, he waits, he kisses me anyway, and for a moment the world narrows to just warmth, breath, and the ache of almost having everything I've ever wanted. Closing line, we lie there, hearts beating together, almost whole, almost complete, almost right. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 43, Winter's weight presses down at home. My mother is fragile, Aunt Angelina is her steady hand, soothing tears and chaos alike. I sit on the stairs, watching the quiet unraveling of the life I take for granted. My father comes home early, his presence a small anchor, and I remind myself I am fine. Comparatively, I always am. The world is fragile, yet still tethered to me by love, friends, family, even the memory of those gone. I want everyone here, whole, safe. And for a moment, I realize that fine isn't perfect, it's enough. Closing line, love is messy, fragile, complicated, but it is what keeps us here, breathing, holding on. Surviving, If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 44, the first time alone in my house, the weight of freedom and the stir of rebellion hits me all at once. Rum and coke in my hand, laughter spilling across the living room, friends buzzing around like sparks, and Jamie leaning close, his warmth searing through the fog of my tipsy mind. I am dizzy, alive, intoxicated with everything, my friends, their love, the reckless joy of being young. Upstairs in the bathtub, I clutch my phone, whispering to Finney, letting him in on my secret, careful, honest, craving his presence. His voice anchors me, guides me, steadies me in the chaos. Tonight, boundaries are tested, choices are delicate. I will sleep next to Jamie, feel him, love him, and still hold on to the right time, the right way. The world spins, laughter and music and warmth all around me, yet my heart knows the tether that matters. Finney, always there, steady, waiting, closing line. In the blur of desire and laughter, I realize love isn't just a feeling, it's the careful, quiet heartbeat that keeps you from losing yourself. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 45. I've read every novel in the library, yet none can quiet the storm inside me. The 4th of July is coming. Finney and I will visit a university, and Jamie is close, his warmth brushing my back, grounding me. My heart flutters in the quiet spaces between us, love small, warm, insistent. I linger over Japanese haiku, imagining lives I can step into, lives where I can breathe, escape, feel, and write. Jamie talks of our future, his voice steady, kind, as I clutch the fragile, impossible balance of my heart, split between love, friendship, and the pull of my own dreams. Outside, the hot summer air presses in, yet I feel a strange calm. Acceptance is simple, powerful, and enough for now. Closing line. Sometimes love isn't about possession, it's about holding each other gently, while still letting your own soul fly. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 46. We stood by the fountain, alone for a few stolen minutes, the sun blinding around us, the water cooling our skin. I tried not to look at him, but every glance found him anyway. He talks about the campus, about trees, and somehow, it's enough to make my heart stop. On the drive home, memories of our childhood spill out, kindergarten fears, poems, soccer games, and I realize I've always been afraid of losing him, even when I never would. He talks of New York, of med school, of a life away from me. I laugh when he denies coffee and we both laugh again, knowing some things will never change. The world feels vast and shifting, yet this small corner, this quiet moment with him, feels infinite. Closing line. Sometimes the future isn't what you imagined, but sitting here with him, even for a moment, feels like home. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 47. August 8th arrives, and nothing happens. No lightning, no warnings, no black dogs in the street. The world hums on, ordinary and indifferent. But inside, we both feel it, something unspoken, a quiet shift lingering in the shadows of our hearts. The year behind us presses softly, like sunlight fading across a floor, leaving a thin veil of gray between what was and what will never be. Closing line. Some moments leave no mark on the world, yet carve themselves deep into the soul. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 48. The first day of senior year arrives, and the hallways hum with new energy. Jamie and I pass my old bus stop. Freshmen look so small, so fragile. We sit together on the steps to nowhere, feeling the heat, realizing this was our last summer of childhood. Every laugh, every glance feels like the edge of something ending. In gym, we're paired as partners, shuffleboard, pool, simple games, but my eyes linger on Finney. The boy who once made my heart skip in awkward hallways is now here, just a glance away, yet everything feels heavier, more intimate. Sitting side by side, I feel the years behind us, the memories that bind us, the unspoken threads that still tie my world to his. Closing line. We're seniors now, on the brink of everything, and yet some moments make time stand still. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 49. Lunchtime sun warms the concrete as my friends talk about first times and mistakes, about love and chaos tangled together. Angie shares hers, flushed and smiling, while I sit frozen, trying to understand how joy can come from something so messy, so human. I glance at Jamie beside me, quiet, steady, patient, and imagine a world where my first time is safe, warm, and ours, not rushed or careless. We drive home, the story of love and awkwardness lingering in the air. Jamie makes me promise a dream of careful, thoughtful love, a future stitched with care, charm bracelets, and dinners we'll remember. In that moment, I realize love isn't about accidents, it's about being held through them. Closing line. Some stories are messy, some are perfect. but the ones worth keeping are the ones we hold each other through. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 50, The gym echoes with the soft thwack of a shuttlecock. I flinch, zone out, and Finney patiently guides me through each swing. Each hit, each laugh, each awkward miss feels like a small bridge between us, unspoken and steady. We walk side by side but apart, trading tiny confessions, birthday plans, sneakers, ant farms, and I feel the quiet gravity of being seen, understood, and still untangled. Even in the ordinary, in the games and chatter of school, there's a pulse between us. A connection that doesn't need to be named, just held. Closing line. Some moments aren't fireworks, they're soft, steady, and enough to remember forever. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 51. The crisp fall air brushes my face as we sit on the steps, senior life settling around us like worn-in sweaters. Sasha notices the rose bush still blooming, small reminders that some things persist, quietly. Halloween plans are whispered, half-hearted, half-excited, but life has shifted already. Angie arrives, cheeks flushed, eyes wide, dropping the news that tilts the world a little. She's pregnant. Shock, curiosity, and an odd happiness swirl in the autumn light, threading through our ordinary day. Closing line. Life keeps moving, unannounced, and sometimes, it changes everything in the span of a single sentence. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 52. The ping-pong ball taps between us, a quiet rhythm masking the storm of thoughts in my head. I ask Finney to come to the Halloween party, not for me, not for the fun, but so his presence will keep Aunt Angelina from worrying. He shrugs, calm and steady, agreeing to come, and in that moment the impossible feels possible. I imagine him there, with Sylvie too, the homecoming king and queen, blending into my small, chaotic world, and my chest tightens with a flutter of disbelief. Closing line. Sometimes all it takes is one yes from someone you love to make life feel bigger than you ever imagined. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 53. I open my notebook, trying to capture my strongest memory, but it burns my hand, because it's him. The night Finney kissed me flashes like fire in my mind. The backyard, the laughter, the chaos of New Year's Eve, and then him, his lips, warm, brushing my cheek, holding my arm like he never had before. My stomach knots, my chest tightens, and I feel the weight of everything I wasn't ready for. That kiss changed everything, and in an instant, we weren't friends anymore. I clutched the page, tears hot, breath uneven, unable to reconcile the boy I loved with the boy who just kissed me. Closing line. Sometimes, one moment can erase years of certainty and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 54. The Halloween party buzzes around me, lights, laughter, music, and I watch it all from the doorway, a blue mug in my hand, feeling the pulse of the night but separate from it. Jamie dances across the chaos, commanding attention, yet finds me, and for a heartbeat, the world narrows to just him and me. Finney enters, and my heart lurches. I stumble into his chest, spilling his drink, our fingers brushing, the warmth of him hitting like electricity. We navigate the crowded rooms together, careful, silent, a delicate truce between desire and restraint. Every glance, every small touch, reminds me of promises, of closeness, of everything left unspoken. Closing line. In a room full of noise, our quiet moments echo the loudest in my heart. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 55. We're at the pool table, the clack of balls echoing through the room, but all I notice is him v Finney. The way he leans over, adjusts my hands, guides me with a touch that's warm and steady. He tells me about Thanksgiving, a small piece of his life I hadn't known, his little sister, Elizabeth, and my chest tightens, a mix of relief and that familiar ache of being on the outside of his world. Every glance, every brush of skin, every missed shot feels like a heartbeat between us, fragile and electric. I want to stay in this suspended moment forever, but the table waits, the game continues. Closing line. In the middle of a simple game. His hands on mine remind me that closeness isn't always spoken, it's felt. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 56. The courthouse is quiet, solemn, but my heart races. I raise my camera to capture Angie and Dave, but her smile, a swell of life and love I can't touch, sends a knife through me. My hands shake, the photo blurs, and I delete it before anyone sees. Jamie's hand is warm in mine, grounding me, yet I feel the ache of wanting a happiness that isn't mine. Yet. Watching their moment, I realize joy can exist without me, but hope still lingers in the grasp of another hand. Closing line, someday, I tell myself, I'll find a smile that cuts in without leaving me hollow. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 57, Christmas lights flicker across the darkened room, dancing over the quiet ache in my chest. Finney sits across from me, legs stretched out, his blue eyes nervous and searching. We sip soda from warm cans, a ritual from years past, and I feel the weight of the last moments before everything changes. His voice, soft and almost shy, says, "I'm going to miss hanging out with you." My heart tightens, my throat constricts, and the world outside the room feels miles away. We are inches apart yet tethered by the unspoken, the almost, the could-be. Closing line, I want to say yes, but all I can do is breathe and let this fragile, fleeting closeness linger before the world pulls us apart. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 58, rain taps against my window as I curl into my quilt, the weight of my parents' divorce pressing down like the gray morning outside. I call Jamie, my voice trembling between anger, confusion, and aching loneliness. He answers, sleepy and calm, grounding me. "Just come over and hold me," I whisper, letting the world shrink to His presence, His promise. Closing line, and in that quiet, rainy morning, I realize some love is steady enough to stay, even when everything else falls apart. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 59. Snow melts against the windshield as I ride with Jamie, my chest tight with the weight of my parents' divorce and the winter pressing in. Life feels fragmented, friends drifting, Angie expecting, Finney distant with Sylvie, but moments of warmth still exist. Holding on to Jamie's steady love, I watch small shoots of spring appear outside, fragile and tentative. I realize growing up is learning to carry both grief and hope at once. Closing line, and as the cold melts around me, I wonder if I'll ever feel whole again, or if that's just what growing up means. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 60. Spring is fragile outside as I sift through racks of dresses, each one a reflection of who I'm not, who I could have been. Sasha laughs about prom king, Finney, and Sylvie, a life I'm only on the edges of. I let my mother guide me through pinks and blues, imagining a version of me that fits neatly into a world that feels both exciting and impossible. Then I see it, beige satin, black tulle, a dress that feels like me. My reflection catches me off guard. I'm here, I exist, even amidst the chaos of parents splitting, hearts shifting, and the impossible waiting just ahead. Closing line, and for the first time in a long while, I laugh at myself, and maybe, just maybe, I like what I see. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 61, Prom Night. The air shimmers with glitter and silver stars, the music swells, and everyone glows in their gowns and tuxedos. I sit in the passenger seat with Jamie, watching my friends laugh, eat, and dance. Sylvie and Finney steal a crown and a moment, their faces flushed, their joy unmistakable. I watch from the edges, my chest tightening, yet something stirs in me as Jamie's hand finds mine. We sway to the music, hips and cheeks pressed together, and in that quiet gravity between us, I say it, I love you. His fingers anchor me, warm and steady. Closing line, and in that moment, nothing else exists, just us, and the promise that some hearts, once found, never let go. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 62. Jamie drives me home, the sky wide and clear, the wind tugging at the trees. I curl my knees to my chest, trying to find the words, to speak about what comes after graduation, about us, about choices that feel bigger than our age. He's silent, focused on the road, and suddenly the world feels heavy with unspoken fears and the weight of growing up. I offer plans, precautions, but he shakes his head gently, letting the moment wait. I press my lips to his in a quiet promise, closing line, and in that simple kiss, I realize love isn't always about knowing what's next, it's about holding on to what is, right now. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 63, Graduation Day. I walk across the stage, diploma in hand, feeling the applause like a distant echo. Everyone smiles at me, sincere, proud, but inside, I wonder if surviving high school is all I've really accomplished. The lobby is crowded, chaotic, a blur of faces and families. I search for Jamie, Sasha, Alex, and then Finney, and finally, amidst the flashing cameras and bustling crowd, I find the small, quiet joy in the moments that matter, standing next to him, sharing a laugh, a smile, a memory that will last. Closing line. Maybe surviving is enough, and maybe, somehow, we've made it beautiful. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 64. Jamie shows up early, and my chest flips with the old, familiar flutter. But excitement dies in an instant. He sits down, 6 inches away, and quietly drops the bomb. He can't love me the way I need anymore. My heart twists as he admits his feelings have shifted to Sasha, my trust, my love, my years together. Crumbling in a single breath. Laughter bubbles out at the absurdity, then emptiness floods in. I take it all in, cold and sharp, staring at Finney's car like it's the only anchor left. Closing line. I slam the door behind him, and in that echo, I promise myself I will never ever let him back in. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 65. I've been hiding in my bed for days, numb, avoiding the world, avoiding feelings. Mom tries to help, but it's Finney who finally breaks through the fog. He shows up, quiet and steady, bringing ice cream and a calm presence I didn't realize I needed. We walk by the lake, skipping rocks and talking just enough, not about Jamie, not about the heartbreak, but about life moving on. I feel the ache in my chest, the sting in my stomach, and I realize I'm not numb anymore. The world feels too real again, and I'm not sure I'm ready, but Finney is here, and maybe that's enough for now. Closing line. I cry myself to sleep that night, not just for love lost, but for the fragile hope that someone new might stay. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 66. I drag myself out of bed, still heavy from grief, still haunted by Jamie and Sasha. But Finney is there, steady, patient, gentle. Breakfast together feels normal and safe, the world's chaos fading for a little while. We talk about nothing and everything, friends, babies, Sylvie's trip, yet every word makes my heart ache and warm at the same time. The windows down on the drive, the sun brushing my face, I feel the fragile beginnings of being alive again. Finney doesn't rush me. He just lets me exist, lets me breathe, and somehow that's enough. Closing line. Maybe healing isn't about forgetting, maybe it's just finding someone who makes the ache bearable. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 67. For days, I live in quiet moments with Finney, late breakfasts, curled up on his bed, him playing video games while I read. Watching him keeps my mind from wandering back to Jamie, from the sharp ache of what I lost. There's safety here. A calm I didn't think I deserved. On the 6th morning, he's nervous, quiet, fumbling with his words, but it's still him. I tell him to live, to enjoy, while I try to hold myself together. Breakfast, teasing, and laughter fill the spaces between the heaviness. For once, I'm not completely alone in my sadness. Hours pass in sunlight and typing, in writing something honest, letting my thoughts pour onto the page. And when night falls, the world is quiet, and our voices meet through the phone, soft, warm, familiar. Across the distance, we wave at each other, and for a moment, everything is simple, everything is right. Somewhere in the darkness, I realize, even when the world hurts, connection can still save you. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 68. Late at night, my phone lights up, first preppy Dave, then Jamie. Angie had the baby. A girl. My heart twists, and I throw the phone across the room. I can't even sleep properly, can't escape the weight of all the old, familiar pain. In the morning, Finney shows up. Calm, steady, present. We drive to the hospital, get lost, and I almost panic, but with him, I feel grounded. Inside the room, Angie beams, holding her tiny daughter. And for a moment, the world shrinks, just me, Finney, and Guinevere. The chaos of Jamie and Sasha fades. The awkwardness, the heartbreak, they don't exist here. He holds her, and I lean close, and the closeness feels safe, warm, real. For the first time, I realize, I never wanted Jamie like this. Some moments teach you more about love than years of heartache ever could. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 69, we're on his bed. I'm curled up with my laptop, lost in words, while Finney battles dragons on his screen. The hours stretch, slow and golden, late breakfasts, midnight drive-thrus, candy sticky fingers, streetlights too bright to see stars. I try to hide my writing, but he knows me too well. He asks to read it, and I hesitate, because it's private, messy, mine. But somehow, just the thought of sharing it with him feels safe. His laugh, his teasing, the easy way he's beside me, it's comforting in a way Jamie never was. We bicker lightly, push and pull, and I realize I'm smiling without even thinking. For the first time in a long time, I'm not running from anything. Some moments don't need words, they just need someone who knows you, beside you. To feel like home, If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 70, it's almost midnight, and I'm sitting on the hood of Finney's car when he comes outside. The air is warm. The world feels quiet. Brooke told me the group still wants me. No one wants to take sides. And somehow, that hurts more. We drive to an all-night drive-thru, my feet hanging out the window, my heart hanging somewhere between past and present. He asks if it's easy for me to drop friends. I don't know if he means them. Or us, then we say her name. Sylvie. Italy. Art museums. She's scared of me, he says. And suddenly, I don't know where I stand. Not the villain. Not the girlfriend. Not anything defined. We sit in the parked car, dashboard lights glowing against his face. I want to lean on him like I used to. Like I still can't. It would be romantic if we were together, and when he asks, what are we doing tomorrow? I realize the real question isn't about tomorrow, it's about us. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 71, we're sitting by the lake, waiting for fireworks to start. The sky is dark, quiet, like it's holding its breath. Mom and Aunt Angelina give us space now. They think they know something. Maybe they do. The first firework explodes, and the sky lights up, but I'm not watching the sky. I'm watching him. The way he smiles. The way he brushes his hair from his eyes. The words are right there. 3 small words. Sitting in my mouth like stones. Heavy. Real. I think about the last 6 years. Were they real? Or just some strange dream where we forgot who we were to each other? I imagine a different past, one where we never drifted, never broke, never chose other people. He says my name. I blink. I'm back. Nothing, I tell him. I'm just tired. But I'm not tired, I'm just scared that if I say the words out loud, everything will change. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 72, it's a warm night. Finney pulls up, and for the first time, it's not just us. Jack's there. We go to a horror movie. I scream. I flinch. My forehead brushes Finney's shoulder. And this time, he doesn't move away. His arm rests behind me, fingers barely touching. Not obvious. Not official. But enough. Later, we sit in his parked car, passing around cheap drinks and pretending we're older than we are. I laugh too loud. I say I know I'm pretty. I say it like it doesn't matter. Then Jack asks the question, am I messing with Finney's head? He tells me Finney used to obsess over me. That it took him forever to get over me, and for one dangerous second. My heart leaps, because maybe it wasn't one-sided. Maybe it never was. But when Finney walks back toward the car, pretzels in hand, everything goes quiet again. We say it's not like that, but the silence between us, it feels like a lie. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 73, we fall asleep on his bed again. Afternoon light spills across us. Empty pizza box on the floor. His game paused. My book forgotten. I wake up first and just watch him. The tiny scar on his cheek. The same chicken pox we had at the same time. The same bed we used to share when we were kids. We used to get sick together, and somewhere along the way, I ruined us, I love you, I whisper. So quiet it barely exists. For a second, it feels like the world is holding its breath. Like maybe he feels it too. Like maybe this silence means something. Then his phone rings, Sylvie. Italy. 4 in the morning, he turns away from me to answer. Walks out. Closes the door, and just like that, whatever almost existed between us disappears back into the dark. Some love stories don't end with a goodbye, they end with a door quietly closing. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 74. I'm sitting across from my dad at a downtown restaurant. He offers to help me move into my dorm. If you want me there, I'll be there, he says. If I want, why is he optional? And Mom isn't? Why does it feel like I'm the only one who doesn't get to choose? He brings up Jamie. I say I'm fine. I say it like I almost believe it, but I'm not fine. I'm not angry. I'm not crying. I'm just stuck. Later, I sit at my desk. I try to write. Delete it all. Close the laptop. I want to call Finny. I don't, so I lie there with my eyes closed while the sunlight turns everything red, waiting. Sometimes the hardest part isn't losing someone, it's pretending you didn't. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 75. One day passes. Then another. Finny doesn't come to dinner. He's out. He hesitates in his driveway like he's carrying something heavy. And I pretend not to notice. Mom asks if we had a fight. Again, I snap. Because how can you fight over something that was never officially yours? 6 days. No calls. No late night drives. No laughter through open windows, so I call him, he doesn't answer, and I curl into myself thinking, I ruined it. Again, then my phone rings. I'm going to break up with Sylvie, he says. My heart stops. Not in excitement. Not in victory. Just fear. Because this is real now. We watch a movie. We eat pizza. We don't talk about her. But everything has changed. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in silence, and asks if you're brave enough this time. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin. Chapter 76. It's late. The engine is off. The world outside the car has disappeared. It's just Autumn and Finny. And memories. Do you remember? That's how it starts, 4th grade. Charlotte's Web, she cried, the baseball that hit him. She thought he was dead. They laugh softly about snow, creeks, punching a boy who called her a freak, but underneath the laughter, something fragile is shifting. The windows fog up, the streetlight blurs, and suddenly, memory doesn't feel safe anymore. Memory isn't objective, she says, and that's when it hits her. Maybe they don't remember everything the same. Maybe middle school wasn't the same for him. Maybe high school wasn't either. He thought she was the queen, she thought she was invisible. He heard boys talk about her, she never knew, and for the first time, she wonders if they can remember the same childhood so differently. What else have they misunderstood? Because sometimes love isn't about what happened, it's about what we believed happened, and that changes everything. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 77. It's 1 a.m., blue and red lights flash behind them. Again, they've done nothing wrong. They're just teenagers in a red sports car, and somehow, that's enough. When the police finally leave, the night feels heavier. But also strangely alive. She teases him about his cute car. He threatens not to drive her anymore. They laugh like nothing bad could ever really happen. But then he says it, take the wheel. Her stomach drops. She doesn't want control. She doesn't want responsibility. She wants him to drive. She always wants him to drive. But when he says her name like that, she can't refuse. The car swerves. Her heart slams against her ribs. She's panicking. And then, his hands cover hers, warm. Steady. Certain, you have to make little adjustments, he tells her. I'll catch you if we go too far. And in that moment, it isn't just about driving. It's about trust. It's about growing up. It's about letting go of the wheel. But knowing someone will hold you steady. As the highway stretches out in front of them, empty and endless, she realizes something. Maybe love isn't about being fearless. Maybe it's about knowing someone's hands are there when you start to fall. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 78, for a second. She forgets the world is bigger than just the two of them. They're on her couch, watching a movie. It's quiet. Safe. Warm. Then his phone rings. The way he says hello tells her everything. Sylvie. She watches him say That's cool. Nothing much. And suddenly the room feels smaller. I can't break up with her over the phone. He says, break up, the word hangs there between them. She's not who I want to be with, he finally admits. Not who I want. Her heart skips. Is that supposed to mean something? Does it mean me? Then he asks about Jamie. Do you love him? And for the first time, she says it out loud. I'm not in love with him. The words feel light. Free. Almost funny. She didn't realize how heavy they were until they were gone. I've been really happy, she admits. And they just look at each other. This is the moment. The one where one of them could say it. The one that could change everything, but they don't. Instead, they choose late-night food, another hour, another excuse. Because sometimes it's easier to sit in almost love than to risk saying it out loud. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she knows, Sylvie will be home soon. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 79. Her parents' divorce is finalized. The house feels empty, so she does what she always does. She goes to him. They build a blanket cave like they used to when they were kids. Is pizza, rum and coke. Jack laughing. 3 inches between them. 3 inches that feel like everything. She tells Jack, it's never been like that with us. But her heart knows that's not true anymore. Later, she wakes up still drunk. Finney asleep beside her. She curls into him like she used to, like she still belongs there. Then she hears it. I'm going to break up with Sylvie tomorrow. Her stomach drops. Tomorrow. And then Jack asks the question she's terrified of. Then what? She runs to the bathroom and throws up. Not from the alcohol, from hope. In the shower, the truth finally hits her. I want him to love me, not someday, now. So she writes, all day, no breaks, no distractions. She pours everything into the novel. Every almost, every maybe, every what if. When she types the last sentence, her hands are shaking. That's it. That's all of it. When he finds her, she's still in her bathrobe. Still crying. My characters feel dead, she says. But that's not why she's crying. It's because she's tired of pretending. When he asks to read it, she panics. Because if he reads it, he'll know. And maybe that's exactly what she wants. Okay, she whispers. You can read it after dinner. Because sometimes the only way to survive loving someone is to finally let them see it. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 80. Once upon a time, there were 2 best friends, Aiden and Izzy. They grew up side by side, understanding each other in ways nobody else could. They were awkward and funny, brave and scared, and slowly. More than just friends, they loved recklessly, drank stolen vodka by the creek, learned to drive together, and shared a world only they could see. They had a taste of heartbreak, the baby they lost, but even that couldn't break them. Everyone else told them to move on, to make other friends, to let go, but they couldn't. Not ever. Then came the end of high school. Distance loomed. Scholarships, choices, futures, they cried. They held on. They promised, better unhappy together than happy apart. Even as the airport called her flight, they clung to each other, desperate, refusing to let go. And finally, they learned what it means to love completely. Sometimes love isn't letting go. Sometimes love is letting the world wait. That's the last line. The perfect love, held forever in a single heartbeat. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 81. The room is quiet. Only the soft click of keys and the hum of a movie filled the space. But my heart is louder than everything. Finney reads what I wrote, and I watch him, trying to read the unreadable on his face. We talk, finally, about the past, the cruel silence, the awkward kisses, the years we misunderstood each other. Apologies spill out, trembling and raw. My chest hurts with everything left unsaid, but slowly, the weight lifts, and then we kiss. First hesitant, then desperate, then everything. My hands find him, his hands find me. It's perfect and terrifying, every nerve awake. Tears fall. Laughter trembles through panic. I love you, he whispers. And I do too. It's not just a feeling. It's a lifetime of longing, forgiveness, and knowing we finally belong to each other. It's always been us. The sun rises. And for the first time, everything feels like home. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 83. The sky darkens early, clouds heavy, rain threatening. I sit on his bed, knees hugged tight, heart pounding, waiting. Finney steps out of the shower, towel in hand, eyes full of quiet resolve. He promises me, it'll be just us. I'll come back as soon as I can. We linger in the driveway, holding on to each other, kissing like the world might end before morning. Every second is stolen, precious, fragile. Then reality intrudes, the mothers, the car door slams, but even that cannot break this perfect moment. He drives away, leaving me drenched in the first drops of rain, and I realize, some separations are temporary, but the heart remembers forever. This is not goodbye. This is the beginning. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 84. The sky is heavy, almost dark, and I sit on his bed, knees hugged tight, heart aching. Finney steps out of the shower, his eyes soft but certain. He promises me, I'll come back as soon as I can. Things will be the way they were always supposed to be. We linger in the driveway, holding on, kissing like the world has paused. Rain threatens, a car door slams, but nothing can break this moment. Every heartbeat, every breath, is ours. Then he drives away, leaving me standing in the quiet rain, and I know, distance cannot touch what we've finally found. Some loves are meant to wait, but never to be forgotten. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 85, August 8th. The night is alive with rain, screeching tires, and a heart racing too fast. I see Finney in the red car, perfect, untouched, but I know the moment slipping from him. Every choice, every second, screams what could have been. If he had been with me, he doesn't see the danger, only Sylvie. He leaps toward her, and in that instant, the world stops. I feel it, the sudden, sharp twist of fate that can't be undone. My chest tightens, my hands shake, and just like that, everything changes. Some moments are beautiful in memory, but unbearable in reality. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 86. It's late September. The leaves are dying, the roses droop, and I feel the same, stuck past my time. I watch Finney's window, longing for him in a way that aches deep in my chest. Every step I take tonight is quiet, deliberate, haunted by memories of us. I leave a note, I choose the knife, I move through the empty house like a ghost. Each creak of the stairs reminds me of how we ran, laughed, and kissed. I pause only to remember him, only to feel him one last time. The door to his room closes behind me. Silence. Shadows. The world outside continues, but inside, I am frozen in this moment with him. Some love stays alive even when the world tells you it's too late. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 87. I wake up in a hospital bed, the air sharp and sterile, my body wrapped like it belongs to someone else. The blanket is thin, the fore cold in my hand, my wrists bandaged perfectly, eerily neat. I remember everything, more than I want to. The nurse asks questions I can barely answer. Do you remember why you're here? I do. I remember every choice, every moment that led me here. My heart tightens. My fingers trace the bandages. Finney. He would forgive me. He has to, and even here, in this quiet, white room, I know I'm still chasing him. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 88. I think about trying again, about carrying on without him, but I know Finney wouldn't approve. I can almost see his frown, the quiet disapproval in his eyes. He cared about everything, even the smallest life, and I'd never convince him this was the right choice. I imagine a life we could have, living with the mothers, working, saving, writing at night. It wouldn't be him, it could never be, but maybe it would be enough. Maybe it would be better than nothing, and then I feel him there, smirking like he always does, reminding me that some victories are eternal, even in absence, even without him. He's still the heart I can't let go of. If He Had Been With Me, by Laura Nowlin, Chapter 89. The nurse steps out, and the room feels impossibly still. I hug myself tight, wrists aching, heart pounding. I close my eyes and breathe, whispering that I'll wait, that I'll be okay. For the first time in years, a fragile hope settles over me, like the world is aligning, like maybe some things were always meant to be. And in that quiet, I realize it's finally my turn to breathe. Thank you for listening to Love and Sad Stories. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional voiceover summaries. Here, we don't just tell stories, we relive them. Until the next chapter, stay emotional, stay connected.